Yeah.
And let's discuss this with the civil rights activist and host of Live of the Fly, Randy Credico. Welcome to the program, sir. It started with sanctions and has escalated to bomb threats now. Do you think Washington and Senator Graham in particular have any red lines when it comes to pushing Moscow?
Listen, Senator Graham is a complete lunatic, okay? He's what you call, he's from South Carolina, and that's where they call people crackers. So he is a Graham cracker, is what he is, a complete lunatic. I think everyone should just ignore him. The president, I'm sure, is laughing behind his back after they play golf, but Senator Graham will say anything that he can to get attention, anything at all. We're going to sanction any person that reads Dostoevsky or Tolstoy, anybody that drinks Stola Snaya or eats Beluga caviar. We're going to put 1,000% sanctions on those people. I mean, the guy's completely nuts.
I mean, he is talking about essentially bombing a nuclear superpower. What do you think the global repercussions? Why aren't they being considered?
I think people consider the source. Look, I don't know why the mainstream media gives that nutcase. He should be in an insane asylum. Why give him any credibility or any airtime at all? The mainstream media, which is basically MSM, they call it, that would be Merz, Starmer, and Macron media, should not take this guy seriously. Stop giving him airtime because it embarrasses everybody over here. I think the Russians are well aware of this guy's MO. He's been talking like that for 25 years. Remember, he comes from a family that supported slavery 150 years ago in South Carolina. So, you know, I'm sure some people say, wow, this guy, you know, if he were president, he would do it, but he's not. He's a lone senator talking this way. But, you know, people better start saying, hey, stop it, you freak. You know, yes, there are Nazis that we are supporting in Ukraine, but they're the good Nazis. I mean, the guy says crazy things. What do you want? You know? So the sanctions are never going to happen. I think Trump is looking for a way to wiggle out of the whole affair. Europe is bankrupt. Why? Because they imposed sanctions to begin with. You know, they're bankrupt. They have no cash. So the whole thing is dwindling down and coming to an end. And I would suggest is that Russia just finish this thing off now and get it over with and let, what's his name, get a vaccine for rabies. That is Lindsey Graham.
You know, Mr. Credico, I think I have a feeling that you're going to enjoy this next clip that we're about to play. Almost a decade ago, Senator Graham visited Ukraine and had this to say. Let's take a listen.
Your fight is our fight.
Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
All right, so this was 6 years before the start of Russia's military operation. What need was there for an offensive?
Listen, there was no need for what he said back. You ask me, what did he say back then? I say he's been talking like this forever. He's got John McCain 2.0, this guy, and it's the same rhetoric. Look, the guy has made a fortune off of this. According to one source, he's got $17 million in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, I like Zelensky. Zelensky's a good man. He will sacrifice all of his people. I bet you soon they'll even get high school kids and people in senior homes out there. So he is our guy. So, I mean, this guy doesn't care about Ukrainians. 1.5 million, 1.8 million dead because of people like him trying to destroy Russia. And it's people like him that should be in prison for what they've done. He's a war criminal.
Yeah, he's not only talking about Russia, is he? He's also talking about Russia's close allies like China and Brazil and possible sanctions against them. What's in it for the American senator, do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, there's money in it for it. But first of all, look, they're all freaking out. You know, G7 is dead. BRICS is in, and they can't stand it. The only thing that the U.S. ever does is destroy. All right, we bomb. You know, China and these other countries they build, we bomb. What they should do is stop it. It's like a restaurant that is, the only restaurant in town, but they've got rats in it, and the food is horrible. And then a new restaurant opens next door called BRICS, and they give great food, and it's clean inside, and a lot of people are coming. Instead of the old restaurant that's in terrible shape, cleaning up their act, retooling the place, they're just going to destroy the restaurant next door. That is what is happening right now. But BRICS will go on. They're desperate over here. We're $40 trillion in debt, and we're sinking. All right, so it doesn't matter what crazy people like Lindsey Graham, who was he was a lawyer. All right, him and Blumenthal, who was a draft dodger. They love to see other people die. Russians are dying, and that's great. And so are Ukrainians. All right. That's great. Slavs fighting Slavs. They like this. They're sick in the head. Why don't you take them from us? We'll trade you for one of your senators. How's that? You have Graham. Give us one of yours in the Duma.
In the Rada, probably. If you're talking about
the Rada.
The Ukrainian.
I mean, just get rid of this guy. You know.
There's right.
The rats are jumping off this ship. Either Prime Minister resigned, who's unelected in the Rada. They're all going. You know the jig is up, and so why are they stretching this out any further? They could have avoided all of this if they hadn't listened to people like Graham in 2022. They'd have the country intact, with exception of Crimea. And I would say that Donetsk should always be in Russia. Donbass should always be part of Russia. It is Russia. But they could have had, the rest of the country and have a nice peace deal and live happily ever after. But, he made a deal with the devil. Zelensky made a deal with the devil. He's got all of these homes. He's got the Bugatti. He got the diamonds for his wife. He's got the stash of cocaine or whatever he's using, because he's just as delusional, if not worse, than Lindsey Graham. He coming out there, we're going to win this thing. I got a peace plan, and we want everything in the East, and we want Moscow, and we want the rest of the country. I mean, the guys they're all insane. Where do they come from?
I find it quite interesting that Graham has been adamant that information on the former Ukrainian president's contacts with the then Vice President Joe Biden be released. What do you think he's hoping to achieve there?
What with what? I'm sorry, I missed that question about Zelensky, Biden, and Biden's old stuff.
Not Zelensky, but the former Ukrainian president, and Joe Biden when he was vice president at the time.
Right.
Graham is now sort of calling on more information to be dug up on that. Why is he doing that, do you think?
I have no idea, but, Biden was involved. He's the one that got rid of the prosecutor that was prosecuting him. And there's so much corruption there. It's the worst crime family ever that's in Kiev. It's a crime family. It's a Sopranos to the 10th power. All right. It is a complete corrupt country. It's run by fascists, and they're all corrupt fascists. And I cannot explain Lindsey Graham to you. There was a movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. All right. It's all these nutcases inside an institution. That is Graham, most of Congress, and most of the government in Kiev. They all should be in some kind of institution. And you look at it, the problem with it is that it's killing people, what they're doing. They're making money off of it. They got an escape route when it's all over. But the people that they've sent into right now, I mean, how sick, we got to talk about this, that they're training 14-year-olds to go into the meat grinder. 14-year-olds, senior citizens, are grabbing them off the street. It's a complete mirage, what they got the front line. It's time for them to make a deal. I hope Trump actually gets it. If he wants to save some lives, and he cares about Ukrainian lives, stop using them this is a US NATO war. It's not a Ukrainian war. They are our rented soldiers, all right? Basically, most of them are not getting paid. So I have no idea what's happening with Biden. Biden is like definitely brain dead at this point, but not Trump. Trump seems like he's in some kind of zone as well. But I don't expect him in 51 days to do anything. There's not going to be any bombing of Russia. Remember, Reagan said the same thing in 1984. In 5 minutes, the Soviet Union will be finished. We will bomb them into eternity. All right. So you remember that. All right. So I don't know. I think they understand. The people in Moscow and the Kremlin understand. They figured this guy out, and they're just going on. They're not going to be bothered. It's like having a bunch of mosquitoes around you. You just keep moving on, finishing the job, denazify, and get rid of that Azov battalion. Groups of Nazis that are participating and get rid of this whole idea of them being in NATO. They've destroyed NATO. NATO's done. Russia has beaten Ukraine and basically beaten NATO. We are no longer the supreme power. Russia is the supreme power. They are, and most people here that read, that people that are knowledgeable and honest agree that Russia is the greatest continental fighting force on the planet. We're not going to go there. Europe's not going to go there. It'll be a disaster for all of them. So it's best right now, go to the table, get it over with, and save money and save lives and then save money as well. But you can't. It says this guy Zelensky. I see him on television again. I mean, I don't get it. Zelensky and Lindsey Graham. I saw him play the piano with his. You know what? He was very impressive. I got to tell you, what a wonderful man he is.
All right, sir. I think
I'm
it's
a little
about time
overtalk.
to
I'm a satirist, so I can say that. All right.
Okay. All right. Civil rights activist and
Igor,
host
thank
of
you very much.
Live Off the Fly, Randy Credico. Thank you so much for this contribution.
Thank you. I hope I didn't lose any of your audience. Goodbye.